There are two words. There is stammering and there is stuttering, and they mean exactly the same. But the word stammering is used in Ireland and the UK, and in India, all the places the British had an empire, and stuttering in the States and elsewhere. I think you'd have to describe it as a condition in which you are unable to control the fluency of your speech. So you will sometimes repeat, you say ba 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 ball, and you will sometimes get stuck on the word ball, so ball, and that is called a block. And you will also have hesitations, and you will try and breathe over the block or whatever it is. And so it's a kind of a thing that is going on throughout the whole of your life, and it's a hell of a hindrance to how to your desire to communicate. There is no cure for it. If you have a stammer, that is because it is basically neurological. When you're about the age of 3, and it's normally about that age, it develops. A fair amount of children will grow out of it because they somehow or other, the brain falls back into employing the normal pathful ways for speech that everyone else is employing. But in our case, for those who do not recover, it kind of hardens up. And over the age of 8 or so, it's awfully hard to recover from it as the paths in the brain have hardened up. You have the opportunity to become, if you're interested in it, an improved observer. You have the opportunity, because you're not talking yourself, because you've assumed you aren't now going to interrupt and assert yourself and say, I'm in control of this, because you can't, or you think you can't, that therefore you will take time to observe how others behave. Although you have the words, you've got them all here, you can't actually put them out in the order and with the emphasis and the strength, and the assertiveness that you are aiming to, and therefore you will feel that you have expressed yourself inadequately. But when you write the thing down, it's clear, and you have expressed yourself, and it's there, and nobody can change it or can interrupt you or anything. Interesting in the book, of human bondage, you'll see sometimes I go because that is because I know I'm going to block on a word, but sometimes you can bounce out of it. So there's some, it's a very strange thing that if it is true that he decided to replace the stammer with his club foot. That's a very strange thing to do, because it isn't the same, because you're able to see it. It's a thing you can't hide. And it would be much more straightforward if he'd actually had a stammer in the book. And I don't understand that, if he'd had that, it would have opened up thousands of eyes. But he didn't. He did what an awful lot of people have a stammer do, and he hid it and he transformed it into a club foot, which we can all see, and we'd all see it's obvious enough. And one of the most awful things about stammers, almost everyone hides it or reduces it. And that's why here I am in a position where I'm the chairman of the British Stammering Association, and what I'm trying to do is create awareness of a condition that almost all of us are trying to hide or reduce. And it isn't easy. And you have to say he isn't helping us at all in this book.